So about 1 week ago, I posted my Switch Q&A, which was exactly what it sounds like, a Q&A that was completely Nintendo Switch focused. And I discussed a bunch of cool things, a lot of great questions that you guys asked me to talk about and theorize about when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. Now, in that Q&A, I was asked two questions that were very similar from two different people regarding the Nintendo Switch and its sales in comparison to the Nintendo Wii, or at least its proposed sales and what we think it might end up doing. And it was a really interesting topic. Like I said, it came up twice on that one Q&A, and it's actually come up a couple of times since then. Some other people have commented on some of my videos. I've seen some other conversations about it the last few days, and I felt that it was an issue that really deserved to be discussed a little bit further. So the gist of the question at hand, which you can probably imagine, is whether or not the Nintendo Switch will sell as well or better than the Nintendo Wii. And in my opinion, the question is really more, will anything ever sell as well as the Nintendo Wii did? But let's back it up and focus solely on the Nintendo Switch. We know that Nintendo is riding a lot of hype and a lot of positive buzz, which is really fantastic right now, leading into the January event of the Nintendo Switch, and then of course the eventual launch in March of 2017, which is just 4 months away, blowing my freaking mind that we're less than half of a year away from a brand new Nintendo console. And like I said, it's doing really well as far as, news and people's reception and the way people are talking about it and the scuttlebutt on the internet. It's really fantastic, and I love seeing all this positive Nintendo stuff. And through this, I've said a few times, including when I was answering those two questions on that Nintendo Switch Q&A I did last week, that it really feels very reminiscent of the kind of buzz and hype that was surrounding the Nintendo Wii. Back in 2006, literally a decade ago, we were all talking about and thinking about the Nintendo Wii, this new weird Nintendo machine, and it's got this crazy, remote pointer and this weird little cord nunchuck thing. What the hell is going on? It's so crazy, I can't wait to play it. That's what everyone said. And then that's what everyone did, is they went out, they bought it, and they played it. And it was massively, insanely successful. And we all know that it sold over 100 million units, only the second video game console, to my knowledge, of home consoles, not including handhelds, only the second video game console to ever do so, which was great. The Nintendo Switch buzz, to me, feels very much like the same kind of thing, where the newness and the freshness and the positive marketing spin that Nintendo's applying to the Switch seems to be really emanating into everyone's brains and everyone's way of life. And all these different people, Nintendo gamers, non-Nintendo gamers, and non-gamers, are all paying attention to Nintendo and the Switch, and they're all excited for it. So because it feels so similar to what happened with the Nintendo Wii 10 years ago, I think that there is a conversation and some merit to the idea of whether or not the Nintendo Switch could sell similar to Wii numbers. But I'm going to break it down to brass tacks for you guys before I go any further in this probably pretty short video. I really don't think that there is a chance in hell that the Nintendo Switch is going to sell as well as the Wii did. But the caveat to that is that it doesn't need to, and I think that people need to remember that. It's interesting and fun to talk about how the Nintendo Switch might sell compared to the Wii, and I'm sure that we all get excited, definitely myself included, to think about the Nintendo Switch selling better than the Wii and being that big of a hit for Nintendo and within the gaming community. I think that that would be great, obviously. But you guys, it doesn't need to do that. I feel like, obviously, it's going to sell better than the Wii U, and that in and of itself is going to be its own little victory for Nintendo. But I think that we can also say that this thing is going to be a fairly sizable hit within its own spectrum of what Nintendo needs it to do. These are the same numbers that I quoted on that Switch video, and I'm going to quote them here again. I think that in order for this thing to be considered just a good, solid hit that did well, propelled Nintendo forward, made them money, strengthened their brand, and did all of these different things, I think it needs to sell around 30 million units, and I think it's going to quite easily achieve 30 million units. Remember, that's more than double what the Wii U has done in 4 years. So if the Switch can pull that off in another 4 or 5 years, I think that that's going to be really great, and they will have penetrated a lot of people's homes with that number. Now, for it to be a monster hit, in terms of Nintendo standards coming off of the Wii U, I personally think a monster hit that is also very achievable for the Switch would be around 60 million units. And I know that, we're looking at a different sort of perspective here when we come at Nintendo, because we have a Sony PlayStation 4 that's going to very easily sell more than 60 million units. Honestly, the Xbox One could very well do it as well within its lifetime, depending on if the Scorpio really constitutes an Xbox One skew. And if the Scorpio turns out to be a successor to the Xbox One, obviously that'll change. But let's look at the PlayStation 4. Right now, sold 40 million units worldwide. That's going to sell well over 60 million units by the time the PlayStation 4 is done. So to consider a monster hit for the Nintendo Switch to be numbers that are going to be less than just the regular hit that the PlayStation 4 is might sound a little bit strange. But again, it's all perspective for Nintendo as a company, how Nintendo markets and brings profit into their company very differently than the other two guys. And again, coming off of what the Wii U did. But to be fair, I have to be completely honest, and I have to explore all elements of this question in this conversation as it's come at me. And again, I am kind of repeating a lot of what happened, what I said on that video a week ago, but I really just wanted to elaborate on it further for you guys in its own little kind of short video. I said this then, and I'm going to say this again. I still have to fully admit, although I think there is almost no chance in hell that the Switch could sell as well as the Wii, it's definitely not impossible. And I think that needs to be acknowledged as well. Because, again, the Wii was a lightning in a bottle. And to bring up the same analogy that I've brought up in the past, the thing about the lightning in a bottle scenario is that they're almost impossible to predict. You're not supposed to be able to see them coming. So it's hard to look at something like the Nintendo Switch, which seems great and is getting people excited, and we're all excited to pick it up in March. When you look at something like that, it's easy to be like, oh, it's going to do well, it's going to do okay, but it's not going to do as well as the Wii. Basically, everything I'm saying in this video today. But if it's a lightning in a bottle scenario, we don't know that it's going to sell as well as the Wii. It could be destined to sell double the Wii, 200 million units, which is freaking insane. It could be destined to do that, and we don't see it coming. I'm telling you guys, I'm expecting 30 to 40 million lifetime. So there's no way I think it could be doing 100 or 150 million units, right? Well, that's when the Switch could come out of nowhere, kick us all in the ass, surprise everybody, even Nintendo probably, and do those amazing Wii-like numbers. It really could. If anything, Nintendo has worked so hard with this console, it seems at least, to really make sure it can penetrate the lives and the homes and the wallets of all sorts of people. Everyone from the Nintendo gamer to the non-Nintendo gamer to the non-gamer, as I said even earlier in this video. Those three kinds of people that I think Nintendo is really trying to roll back in like they did with the Wii, this system really could do that. People are excited about the portable aspect, and we all have cell phones and tablets, and we're just an app and touchscreen technology kind of society. And Nintendo knew that. They tried to kind of step into that fold with the Wii U. We all know it didn't work out. They didn't really deliver on the promise. Even though I really like the system and the controller, it didn't fully deliver on, I think, what people wanted it to be. But the Switch seems to be that next step, and it is going to make people very excited to pick it up, and people will pick it up, provided it's not $400 or $500. But I don't really see Nintendo doing that. So the long and the short of it, at the end of the day, it's really silly to completely write off the lightning in a bottle surprise scenario that could be the Nintendo Switch. Maybe it does 80, 90, 100 million units in its lifetime. It could happen. But ultimately, I'm going to stick back to my original point in ending this video in stating that I really think that there's just no chance in hell that the system can sell that many. But remember, 30 to 50 or 60 million units for the Nintendo Switch is going to be fantastically, monstrously successful for Nintendo. I think that they're destined to hit those numbers. I can't imagine it selling less than 30 million units. I'm no prognosticator. I'm no professional. I'm just a very well-spoken nerd on the internet. That's what I am, a guy who runs a YouTube channel. But I still feel pretty good about my prediction of these numbers, you guys. There's no reason to think that it's going to sell less than 20 million units, like the Wii U did. It's not going to do that. It's going to probably do more than half of the Wii U's lifetime sales in the first year. I think that's entirely possible. I should say, provided Nintendo has the stock available. The thing that could really hold back the Switch's sales at a steady pace could be the stock. Is Nintendo planning a stock shortage? Are they going to make that, kind of manufactured, fabricated demand? Or is it going to be real demand that they can't meet? Or is it just going to be something where Nintendo doesn't struggle to keep it on store shelves and everyone who wants to run out and buy one can? In which case, maybe it does, do more than half of the Wii U's numbers. So it'll be interesting to see, you guys. This was just a random discussion I wanted to add a little bit more to, kind of have a little bit more time to fully elaborate on what I think. The Switch is going to be a big hit no matter what. I think that's the number one message I want people to take away from this video. It's going to be a success. It's going to sell millions upon millions of units. It's going to do much, much better than the unfortunate Wii U did. And I think that Nintendo's going to be doing really well for themselves in the next 4 to 5 years. But is it going to do what the Wii did? I know a lot of people want to be excited and say, yes, it can. but I just don't believe it. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch and how it could sell compared to the crazy Nintendo Wii 10 years ago. What do you guys think? Do you think it really could do those crazy monster Wii U numbers? Or Wii numbers, I should say. Sorry, oh my gosh. The Wii numbers. Or do you think it's going to do more, what I think, in that 30 to 60 million unit range? Tell me what you guys think about all that stuff below. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning into this video. My name is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I will catch you guys next time on another video.